There is a version of you that has never existed yet. A version that walks into a room where every eye turns hostile, where a voice is raised to break you, where someone stands 3 feet away wanting nothing more than to watch you flinch. And that version of you does not flinch. Not because he is fearless. Fearless men are usually fools. But because somewhere between his last breath and this one, he decided that his peace does not belong to the man in front of him. If you are watching this, I already suspect something about you. You are not here by accident. You did not click a random thumbnail. You are here because some part of you is tired. Tired of shrinking. Tired of rehearsing arguments you never win in the moment. Tired of watching other people control the temperature of your life. And the fact that you are even searching for this tells me you are closer to changing that than most people will ever be. Most people scroll past. You stopped. That already puts you ahead. So let us begin somewhere unexpected. To understand how to stop fearing confrontation, we have to start with a room most people never picture. Not a battlefield. A dinner table. This is Stoic Virtus. The year is 170 AD. Marcus Aurelius is not on a throne. He is sitting inside a war tent on the Danube frontier. Plague is spreading through his own army. His empire is fraying at the edges. And across from him sit generals who disagree with him, loudly, men who would, under different circumstances, gladly see him replaced. He does not raise his voice back. Historians do not remember Marcus for winning every argument in that tent. They remember him for something quieter. He simply never lost himself inside it. And that is the first thing you need to understand about confrontation, something almost nobody teaches you. The other person is not your opponent. Your own nervous system is. Every confrontation you have ever truly lost, not just disagreed on, you lost it in your chest, not in the conversation. Your pulse spiked, your throat tightened, your thoughts scattered into fight, flight, or that horrible frozen silence where you think of the perfect response 4 hours later. Alone in your car. The Stoics had a word for the thing that happens right before that spiral. They called it the first movement, the involuntary jolt of fear or anger that hits you before you have even decided how to feel. Seneca wrote about this obsessively because he lived it. He served an emperor who had men executed for a poorly timed sentence. Seneca felt fear like anyone else. The difference was never the absence of the jolt. It was what he did in the half-second after it. That half-second is where this entire video lives. Everything else is commentary. Have you ever replayed an argument all night, wishing you had said one sentence differently? Most people think they fear confrontation because they fear the other person. The raised voice, the size of them, the social embarrassment. That is not quite it. What you actually fear is losing control of your own image of yourself. You are not afraid of them. You are afraid of becoming someone weak, someone humiliated, someone who should have said something. The confrontation is external. The fear is entirely internal. It is a fear of what the moment will reveal about you. Epictetus knew this better than any philosopher who ever lived, because he had no choice but to know it. He spent his early life as a slave in Rome. His leg was broken, according to some accounts, by his own master. A story he later told his students not with bitterness, but almost with detachment, the way you would describe weather. Here was a man who had genuinely nothing, no status, no safety, no guarantee tomorrow would not bring worse. And from that position, he built one of the most liberating ideas in the history of thought. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your reputation in someone else's eyes, not up to you. Whether they yell, not up to you. Whether they respect you, not up to you. But your response, entirely, completely, unshakably yours. The moment you actually absorb that, not as a nice quote, but as something you live inside, confrontation stops being a test you can fail. Because you were never being tested on the other person's behavior in the first place. You were only ever being tested on your own. Now imagine this for a second. Imagine standing in an elevator with your boss, doors closing, just the two of you, and they say something cutting, something meant to make you smaller. Imagine your heart pounding. Imagine the silence stretching a full 3 seconds before either of you speaks. What do you do in that gap? That gap is the entire subject of this video. I am not going to give you a script to memorize, because scripts fall apart the second real pressure hits. What I am going to give you instead are 5 internal shifts. Ways of seeing a confrontation so differently that your body stops treating it like a threat to survive and starts treating it like a situation to simply handle. Shift 1. Stop making it personal. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself almost daily that an insult only lands if you catch it. Someone can throw a word at you with everything they have, but if you do not reach out and grab it, if you let it sail past, it lands nowhere. It becomes noise in an empty room. This does not mean you are numb. It means you have separated the event from the meaning you are tempted to attach to it. Someone raising their voice at you is a fact. This means I am worthless is a story, and you can simply choose not to write it. Shift 2. Trade certainty for flexibility. Rigid things break. Water does not. Seneca compared the wise man to a sailor who reads the wind instead of fighting it. In confrontation, this means you stop needing the conversation to go a specific way. The moment you release your grip on "I need to win this," or "I need them to apologize," you become almost impossible to provoke. Because provocation only works on people who have something fixed to lose. Picture a family dinner. Someone brings up an old argument on purpose. Everyone at the table tenses. The old version of you would have taken the bait immediately. But the version you are building now simply does not need to win that particular round. And the moment you stop needing it, the whole table loses its power over you. Shift 3. Remember, there are always exits. Nobody ever tells you this, but walking away is a Stoic weapon, not a Stoic failure. Epictetus taught that a confrontation is not a locked room. Silence, distance, a change of subject. A simple "let us talk later." These are not surrenders. They are strategy. The person who thinks they have cornered you is often the person you have just quietly outmaneuvered. Which brings us to something almost nobody notices in the moment it is happening. Shift 4. Read the pattern underneath. Think about the loudest person you have ever met. Were they actually calm? Or were they trying to convince everyone, including themselves, that they were? Almost every aggressive person is running from something. Loud anger is very often frightened insecurity wearing a louder coat. Once you start noticing this, the shake underneath someone's volume, the way true confidence really needs to raise itself, confrontation stops surprising you. And an unsurprised mind stays calm almost by default. The next time someone raises their voice at you, do not just hear the volume. Listen underneath it. You will start to notice something. Most shouting is not strength. It is a man trying to drown out his own doubt before you hear it first. Shift 5. Rehearse the small stuff. Picture Marcus Aurelius after that meeting in the war tent. The generals have left. The tent is quiet again. He sits down alone by a small oil lamp and opens the private notebook historians would later call Meditations. He does not write about winning the argument. He writes about how he responded, what he could have done better, what almost pulled him off balance, and why it did not. That single habit, a few honest lines written after a hard moment, is the real secret behind everything you have heard in this video. Calm under pressure is not a personality trait some people are born with. It is closer to a muscle, and muscles only grow from repetition. Nobody is watching. You do not build composure in the big moment. You build it in every small moment leading up to it. The rude comment you let go without needing the last word. The traffic that used to make you furious. The criticism you take one breath before answering. Rehearse the small collisions, and the large ones stop frightening you. Picture the scene from the start of this video again. You, face to face with someone who wants to unsettle you. Their voice rises. Your old self would have matched it, or collapsed under it. But you have done the work now. The first jolt still hits. It always will. You are human, not stone. But in that half second after it, something different happens. You notice the jolt instead of obeying it. You remember this is not personal, that you do not need to win, that you have somewhere to go if you choose, and that the loudness in front of you is very often fear dressed up as strength. And so you simply do not react the way they expected. You breathe. You answer, or you do not. You stay, or you leave. But whatever you do it as the author of the moment, not as its victim. That is the entire secret. Not invincibility, not never feeling fear, just refusing to hand your composure to someone who was never entitled to it in the first place. The Stoics never promised a life free of confrontation. Marcus buried friends and fought wars. Seneca was eventually ordered to take his own life, and did so with a steadiness historians still write about 2,000 years later. Epictetus began life owning nothing, not even his own body, and still built a philosophy free men study to this day. None of them avoided conflict. They simply stopped being afraid of it. And that difference between avoiding confrontation and no longer fearing it is everything. So the next time you feel that familiar tightening in your chest, the next time someone tries to make the room smaller around you, remember, you have already done the hardest part, just by understanding this. The rest is only practice. If this found you at the right moment, that was not an accident either. Stay a while longer here at Stoic Virtus. There is more waiting for the version of you that is still becoming. I will see you in the next one.